Well, good evening, friends, and welcome to the podcast. Really glad you're here. Rob and Midge are here with us. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, you, Mike?
Good.
How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good. Yourself, Mitch?
We've lost all our snow.
Spring's coming.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're not far
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, the reason we've gathered you all here today is it's going to be a very special evening because earlier in the week I was able to interview two of Bob Eastman's grandchildren. Let me put the graphic up. His granddaughter, Amy Will, she's the oldest of all the grandchildren, and her brother, Ryan. We had a great interview with them. We're going to be looking at clips of that all evening, as well as, clips from a tour they took of the Polaris Experience Center in Roseau. That tour was given by none other than Mike Hatteen. So we're in extra good company tonight. So let's actually take a few comments, and then we'll start with the video clips. Our good friend Ben from Vintage Mini Bike Lovers is here. He's saying good evening, looking and sounding good here in Carterville, New York. And last Sunday, we had an excellent mini bike podcast with Ben right here. We do that the second Sunday of every month. So wherever you're viewing this, if you like those old mini bikes from the 60s and 70s, just tune in the second Sunday of every month, 8 p.m., and we've got some great things waiting for you. Our good and dear friend Carolyn Eastman is here tonight, saying hello to us. How you doing, Carolyn? This is Bob's wife.
Carolyn.
Very cool. Our good friends and regular viewers from the very beginning, Stacy and Art Fosler, are here from Platte Hill, New York. Great to see you. Our good friend Jim Holbrook, who Midge and I met a couple of, last month it was, at the Crane Show.
Yes.
He's here from Thetford Center, Vermont. Great to see you. Glenn Ford is here. Great to see you. Carolyn Eastman says, doing great. Outstanding. Our good friend Jeff Wesman is here saying, bring on the history. Outstanding. And that seems to be a trend. We've been doing more and more with history, and it seems like that's been very well received. And if you can tell me otherwise or confirm that in the comments, please let us know, because we're getting the impression that people really enjoy this history stuff. And if that's the case, we're working on bringing you a whole lot more. And tonight, of course, will be no exception. So let's get right into it. I've got a video clip that I did, a video clip interview with Amy Will. Oh, one more comment here. Kevin Culhane says, good evening. Looking forward to this episode. So, I've got one of the first of a few interviews I did with Amy Will. This is Bob Eastman's granddaughter. So let's roll this, take a look. Let's get to know her, meet her, and get this party started. So, Amy, not too long ago, you got together with Carolyn, and you were able to get some good footage for us. Can you tell us about that day?
Yeah, it was a great opportunity, especially with you guys being so far on the coast. This was a great chance to show you the Experience Center without having to travel to Roseau. And I have to thank Carolyn for lining up. She lined up an early meeting for us, so no one was in the Experience Center yet. And she talked to Mike Hatteen about walking us through it. So we got kind of a personal tour to share with you guys. And Mike is a wealth of knowledge on Polaris, of course. And yeah, so it was really great. Carolyn, I have to thank her and Mike for that opportunity.
That's great. And to get a personal tour with Mike Hatteen, no less, that's a real treat.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, I don't know enough Polaris history to walk you through that. So I was super relieved when he was available and willing to do that.
Yes. Well, let's take a look at that first clip.
Polaris Experience Center here. As you come into the Experience Center, and something to say about the Experience Center, it's not a museum. This is a place where we do start at the beginning of Polaris and Hatteen hoisted there, but we take you around to the current era. So it's a whole experience of Polaris. We're starting with machine number 2, because that's the oldest snow traveler we have in existence. Machine number 1 was built about a month earlier than this one, but it got damaged, got destroyed in a fire later on in life. This one has been able to have been salvaged and kept around. So you start out looking at what the first snow traveler looked like. And it didn't look like much. Model T steering column, steering wheel. It's got car bumpers for skis. It was just basic parts that were laying around the plant and put it together. Went about 6 miles an hour, but it was faster than what you could walk or snowshoe. So it made sense. We come as we gather in, you can see what kind of the plant looked like under the era of Hittine, Hoist, and Derrick. The old drill press, welders, some of the parts they made. We see a picture of our three founders, some of the employees in the background. And under Hittine, Hoist, and Derrick, that's what Edgar started in the mid-40s, and it stayed that way up until 1954. Now, to clarify something, many people think that 1954 was the first Polaris snow traveler, because that's when the name Polaris came, but it wasn't. 1954, Edgar likes to say, well, we changed the name to Polaris because I go on a sales trip, and I'd introduce myself as Edgar Hittine from Hittine, Hoist, and Derrick, and they'd say, well, okay, we know who Hittine is, but who's Hoist and Derrick? That's one story. The other story is that they bought out a field sprayer line from a farmer out in North Dakota, and he had already started calling them Polaris, and had used the shooting star logo he had created. So whatever story you want to do, I guess I like the first one because it's more humorous. That's the way Edgar told it, but either one. The name was changed to Polaris in 54. In 1955 is when David started, in December of 55, finished it up in January of 56, the first snow traveler. So that clarifies the date. The one big thing that we've seen through the Hittine, Hoist, and Derrick era, and really it extended into the 60s, was working on farm equipment, building whatever they could. Up here you see an old steam cleaner that they built and sold. Here we've got a straw chopper. What was unique about that at the time, back in the era of this, most of the wheat fields you've seen, the wheat was about 4 feet high. So when you got the head of the wheat off, you still had a 4-foot chaff of straw to deal with. It was tough to plow under, it was tough to do, and the combines at the day just had a spreader. They had like a big fan wheel that spread that 4-foot straw. Well, David and Edgar and the guys figured out a way to make a straw chopper. It chopped that 4-foot piece down into about 6-inch pieces. They patented it, they sold it to all the manufacturers, John Deere, Massey Harris, Massey Ferguson, Oliver, Case, Minneapolis Moline, all of them bought this straw chopper from this little company up in Minnesota that revolutionized really what happened. And if you look today at a straw chopper on the back of a combine, it's basically the same design. The one we have on display here comes from Bob Eastman, that Bob had got, cleaned it up, and hooked it on the back of an Oliver, and you can see what it looks like. More of the experience in it, you see product, you see snowmobiles, you see garments, different things from the small rear engine to the Comet to the Mustang. We've got Playmate, Little Andes, all kinds of different product that was developed through the 60s as the company started growing. Basically in 60, I want to say about 61, 2 was the last time you seen anything of a straw cutter, straw chopper. Everything then turned into snowmobile snow travelers. As the snowmobile industry started taking off, as Edgar would say, two people can't go out on snowmobiles and not race each other. So racing became important. And part of racing was to show who had the fastest, because everyone wanted to be the fastest. So as you come in, you start seeing more and more race-type product. As Bob Eastman, he came on as a welder in 61. And, racing wasn't much at that time. Probably the first, there was a little bit up at the PA going on. 64 probably is when racing really started kicking in. And one of the vehicles my father had built in a Mustang with a 50-horse Mercury outboard engine in it. And he won the Canadian Power Toboggan Championship with it. The machine had a big, heavy throttle on it. And the board of directors didn't think the president of the company should be racing much anymore. Well, they turned it over to Bob, because Bob had a big enough hand and a grip that he could grab that throttle and hold on to it. So Bob took over driving that 65 Mustang, which was the first purpose-built race machine that Polaris ever did. 50-horse liquid-cooled Mercury outboard engine in it. It was made for racing, and that's all that machine ever was supposed to do. But so that's kind of where Bob, in a way, got a little bit of his start in racing. And from there, it just grew. As Bob kept racing, developing different product, you can see the various machines as you come around. From cross-country to oval, you can see the X2 in the era of where it was just drag race machines. Here we've got Bob's Hodag machine, 68 TX with a 744, and his trophies next to it from Rhinelander. I know I talked to Bob one time, and while cross country was important, and Bob did a lot of cross country racing, the one thing that frustrated him with cross country was so much of it was based on time. You started in different flights and stuff, so he says, it was good. You knew where you were at, but he said, what I liked about oval racing, the first one across the line, you knew who won. Cross country, you didn't know who won until they tallied up all the timesheets. So he says, he preferred the oval track racing, as I had conversations with him.
So yeah, if you're just joining us, we're spending a few minutes here at the Experience Center in Roseau, Minnesota, the Polaris Experience Center, no less, with a guided tour by Mike Hatteen, arranged by the Eastman family, Carolyn and Amy. Reaction to this, gentlemen?
That's a nice collection of story.
He's great. Yeah. I love how he explains everything out. And yeah. And a lot of those sleds were the ones that Bob raced.
Yes. There's one I'm trying to okay, this one on the left, do you know anything about this, either of you?
That there is what they call I think the X1. And it was at one time the fastest snowmobile on snow. It went 109 miles an hour and change, I think.
Wow.
In 1969, maybe. It was at that time the fastest snowmobile. It has, I think it's got 2 3-cylinder 795 engines on it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
that'll make it go.
It was it was a fast sled. And I think Dorothy Mercer drove it to 106 miles an hour.
Wow.
I can't remember now. Mike Baker, I think. Mike Baker was the one that raced it at 109.
Yeah.
And then Dorothy got on it, and she raced it to like 106.
Wow.
So, yeah, they got a lot of press at that time with that sled being the fastest snowmobile on snow. So
awesome.
They marketed that pretty heavily.
Sure.
And then, of course, then the speed runs took off, and then Arctic Cat had it for a while, Skidoo had it for a while, and, and so on and so forth. And now, you can go out and buy any snowmobile off the showroom floor and do 120 miles an hour across the lake and think nothing of it. So,
unreal.
But at that time, that was very fast.
Yes. And anything else to add to this, Rob? Or?
It's nice that you got a tour guide through this, somebody to tell you the history about the machines and all that. Because the average person walking through there wouldn't get as much information as we're getting.
It's true. Yeah, and this is someone from the Hatteen family right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
His family used to race too?
Yeah, they were the founders of it.
Yeah. Alan and Edgar.
Yeah,
and David Johnson was a partner. And David Johnson's actually the guy that built the first snowmobile out of spare parts that they had.
I thought we had a picture of him in here somewhere.
Yeah, from things that they had around the shop. And Edgar wasn't very happy with him. He thought he was wasting time and money when he could be doing something else. And but then they sold a couple of them, and
the rest, as they say, is history.
They decided, well, you know what? We got something here.
Yes. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so thank God for that, in the end.
Yeah.
And we've got a few. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Take it away, Mike.
Sure. So we've got a few comments that have come in. We'll take a look at these, and we are just getting started. We've got more video clips to look at, more from the Experience Center, as well as more in the way of interviews with the Bob Eastman grandchildren. So Ned is here saying, watching on the Benedim YouTube channel. It's one of the channels this goes out on. Jeff Wesner is here. Great information. Appreciate that. This is Amy Will here saying, thanks, Mike, to Mike Hatteen for an excellent tour. And Amy's the one that helped to organize all of this, and we appreciate that, as well as Carolyn and her brother, Ryan. Mike Whiteside says, gentlemen, holy cow, I'm late. Good evening. Nice to see you, Mike. Carolyn Eastman says Mike Baker was also one of the designers of the X2. Good information.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Wesner says, I met Bob in 73. He came up and congratulated me on my junior race that day at the Milwaukee Mile. Great guy. Outstanding.
Absolutely.
And, oh, yes, Carolyn Eastman says Mike is Alan Hatteen's son. So the son of one of the founders of Polaris.
Wow.
Bob and Carmen Preziquas. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, and I apologize. 377 is the Johnny Cash sled built and driven by the 1975 St. Paul to Winnipeg 1500 winner Ed Monsrud. Excellent. And the Johnny Cash means kind of a hybrid Heinz 57 of pieces. I don't know if you remember that Johnny Cash song about sneaking car parts out in the lunchbox.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're going with that. That's cool.
Sneaking all the parts home.
Yes. Jim Rolbrook says, Jim, snowmobile history is awesome. Outstanding. And my voice is just barely hanging on. I apologize. Rich Shad says, good evening. Nice to see all of you. So let's continue the conversation. Now we're going to get into kind of a deeper dive with the Eastman family. We've got Amy, Will, and her brother, Ryan. We're going to talk about memories of Bob and just snowmobiling. And we'll just, rather than me try to describe it, let's play it and get your popcorn, everyone, and sit back. We're going to have a good time here. Now, would he have stories of his great-grandfather? Or
Maybe. Do you remember much of Papa?
So he's been in the hospital at all.
Yeah, probably more so when he was in the hospital, kind of, I'd say at the end of Papa's Alzheimer's battle and everything, but in the nursing home. We went to the nursing home quite a bit, and so they'd look at fish or something while we visited with Papa. And
yeah.
But yeah, the fact that he was, that was 12 years ago that he was a preemie baby, so 5 weeks early. And my grandpa was not scared to hold him. A lot of people were, but Papa was pretty proud. So,
wow, that's amazing.
Now he's 12, and I don't know. There's something else. It's a little stinky. They're eating pizza downstairs. Yeah, he's working on it.
Do you ride snowmobiles at all?
Yeah, kind of. When there's snow.
Yeah.
Sure.
Again, we have such a snow problem still. So,
yeah.
The trail around our farm catches some snow, so they can ride like the 120. But
I used to ride them a lot till I got in a crash with my cousin.
What?
Uh-oh.
Jordan, he flipped it on me.
Yeah. That happened at my parents' house. So we shouldn't remind Grandpa of that.
Once there's a second sled, then the racing starts, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
But no, they've had a lot of fun with the snowcats and everything.
That's cool.
And then Ryan has a 3-year-old. Wait, I think Ezra's 3. Yeah. And then my other brother has a 4-year-old that kind of meshes with all mine too. And they'll all be riding the little 120s here in not too long.
Yeah, that's cool. It's good when the cousins are fairly close in age. They can have so much fun together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was fortunate to, when I was a kid, that most of our cousins were close in age.
Yeah.
There he is. Ryan, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Amidst all the technical difficulties. So
that's all right.
All good.
But yeah, you look good. You sound good. Good lighting. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah. So I was talking to Amy earlier. I've got a question I'd like to ask the both of you, and that question is this: at what age were you when you first began to realize that your grandfather was a celebrated person in the snowmobile community? What was it like at the time, and what was it like all through the years?
That's kind of a tough one. I think I'm the youngest of the crew as well, so I feel like you already have maybe a little more info from the older siblings, but I always kind of knew that Grandpa raced at one point. You know, I didn't really know the level of it, but back, so the Polaris 120, when they were first making it, developing it, basically we do a thing called PQV, like product quality verification, while they sent these home with the employees' kids. So in our case, our mother, Penny, Bob's daughter, had a couple 120s at home. And that's like my first memory of like riding a 120 and being like, I'm like Papa. I'm going to rip this thing. And I was too young for like, I think Amy, it was you and Mark were supposed to be. My parents, they would just put me out in the field and don't hit anything. But yeah, that's like the earliest memory. So I mean, shoot, I was probably 4 or 5. So I always knew Grandpa raced for a living, but I didn't know the extent, if that makes sense. But
even on that first ride, it sounds like you had a sense that you were following in his footsteps.
Yeah, well, and so maybe Amy mentioned this, but Papa was pretty like very detail-oriented guy, and like safety was like number one. So there was a little bit of paranoia there too. I'm like, Papa's watching.
Yeah.
Don't mess up.
Yeah, it's better do it right.
So, but yeah, at the same time, I was like, I'm going to show Papa how fast I can go. So, a little bit of opposing motives there, but
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's cool. And all through the years, Ryan, what has that been like for you as you got older and understood that legacy more and more?
yeah, I always looked up to Papa a ton. Honestly, like maybe Amy mentioned it, maybe, but we knew him as more farmer Papa than like racer. But we still knew he raced, and then I always enjoyed. I think earliest memories again, like the 120. I think we got to 4-wheelers, then dirt bikes, and then eventually I started racing motocross, and that was where the light bulb went off, and like doing my own reading of like, oh, Papa was a big deal, like so, and he would never tell us that. Looking back, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I want to be like that, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of, you walk the walk, but you don't have to talk the talk, kind of thing.
Yes. The old saying, discretion is the greater part of valor.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
It probably took till like honestly late high school for me, because in Roseau, I think everyone's kind of like, oh, Polaris, it's every day, it's nothing too crazy. But then my first internship at Polaris, you start getting like out of towners working at the plant, and they're like, oh, you know Bob Eastman, and I'm like, because with last name Erickson, people don't always make the connection.
Sure.
And so it's kind of fun they pull back the layers, and equally I get to like understand just how important he was to maybe, you know, someone when they were young. So it's been progression, I guess, just throughout life and working at Polaris. It's cool just to keep kind of taking my part too of like, I don't know, keeping that legacy up of like, hey, Bob Eastman, David Johnson, all these guys, like they matter. As the company gets bigger, I think it's hard for that information to stay relevant all the time, but there's a lot of good people that keep it alive too, so it's fun.
That's amazing. And what are you doing currently at Polaris?
So I guess I'm an engineer by trade, but I'm a program leader is my title now. So I work on the Indian platform side. So I never did the snowmobile stuff like Papa, but so currently I do like the heavyweight liquid cooled and air cooled stuff. So the Indian Roadmaster, Challenger, Pursuit, things like that.
That is awesome. Very cool. And Amy, same question to you.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this. And like I mentioned to you before the interview, I'm like, I feel kind of oblivious to my grandpa's racing career. When I'd be playing in my grandma and grandpa's basement, we'd see the trophies down there. So I knew he was up to something, but I don't know. I think when you're a kid, you just assume that everybody's grandparents have big trophies in the basement. And, I don't know. But like I said, Papa was very into the farming. So to me, it was like, he'd be quizzing me on like, well, what's in that field? What's in this field? That was his love that I saw him living out then. And Papa was also so humble that, I don't know, he was always dressed in like a gray pocket tee or a black pocket tee and driving his plain old like farm truck that, I don't know, for being so extraordinary. And same with like David Johnson and Eleanor Johnson, like they did some pretty extraordinary things, but were very regular, humble people. This is another
That's
great.
amazing. That tells you a lot about his character for sure.
Yeah, but I think yes. Yeah, ask your father. He is home.
Yeah, we can say hi to him if he wants.
I might scoot that one out. He wants to watch
Sure.
Legacy.
Okay, that's all right.
They all want to be engineers, like hopefully you guys and stuff. That'd be cool. But I think that, long story short, the time that I really realized how I don't know what a difference Papa had made in the snowmobiling atmosphere was when I'd met him or either rode with him to a snowmobile show that was in Badger or Greenbush. And I kind of just went to hang out because I don't know a lot about snowmobiles. And he's walking me around, introducing me to people that are there that I don't know, which it was fun. And he introduced me to that David and Eleanor Johnson. And I was like,
Wow.
that's really cool. And they, again, were super friendly. I feel like they treated everybody the same. Not, I mean, of course, me being a rookie, not knowing anything, or my grandpa, I don't know. He was just friendly to everybody. And I really took note of that and listened. Like he listened intently. Even when we were kids, we would ramble on, and I still tend to. But he was just very intense and intentional. And I saw that at that snowmobile event that day too. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
And then all through the years, especially as you've gotten older and have a greater sense of his legacy, what has that been like, more recent years?
I don't know. I guess more so now that my kids are getting older. I have 4 boys, ranges 4 to 12 years old. And now I'm just like trying to keep this legacy alive to show them. Like some of the Polaris culture, I don't work obviously at Polaris anymore. I interned for a very short while.
Mm-hmm.
But my husband farms and reminds me a lot of my grandpa of all things. But with my boys, it's like going to Polaris's 70th anniversary in Roseau this summer and just trying to show them some of the history of it. So that's this season. It's just trying to keep it alive. And having my brothers still working there is great. Mom had put in, I think it was 35 years before she passed. Just the year before she passed away, I think she'd had her 35 year. So
35. Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, cool. We're going to take a little break, but we are just getting started. We'll be right back. So yeah, we are hanging out here with the grandchildren of Bob Eastman. Reactions to this, gentlemen?
Oh, that is so cool, Mike. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And we even get a glimpse of some of the great grandchildren.
She looks just like Bob.
Yes, she sure does. Yeah, and we even had a glimpse there of the great grandchildren as well. A couple of them, anyway.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Definitely. And Rob, anything jump out at you there?
Oh, I like the idea of the grandchildren still being involved in the business.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like her story about being down in the basement and seeing so many trophies.
That's cool. That had to be neat, even, from the perspective of a child, because something's going on with that, but you can't quite put it in its proper context. But you have to know something's happening there,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. So we're just getting started. We've got another clip or two from the Experience Center at Polaris, as well as some more
cool.
as well as some more interviews with the Eastman grandchildren. So let me pull this down, and I'm going to queue up another video clip here. It just takes a moment. And yes, the story continues here. Let's take a look.
Growing, and as Bob got more into racing, moved from production welding into the racing, into the engineering and development side of the business, you can see a lot of that stuff that comes out. And an interesting thing about Bob, over the years, people would bring in a machine. Well, Bob, this is one that you fixed and you did and all that. And he said, well, maybe. And he'd go out and look at it. In fact, I remember some guys found my father's 1965 Mustang. And they brought it up and wanted to verify, is this really the one? So Bob and myself are talking with him. So he said, well, let's go out to the trailer and look. And Bob takes the hood off and he gets down with the flashlight underneath the engine, down in under the engine, and looks. And he said, yeah, that's the right one. And he said, well, how do you know that? He said, it's got my initials on the bulkhead. If I welded that bulkhead, I put my initials in it. So if it never broke, something happened, I know who made that machine. Nobody could blame me, or they could blame me if mine broke. So he says, I know which ones were done by me. Continued on as racing gets more important. Bob takes over as director of racing. He actually started a department. It wasn't just engineering, it was racing, and there was a person in charge of it. And then we see that was 1969, and you really see the explosion of factory race teams, all of that up through the 70s. You kind of end that era with the Midnight Blue Express and the RXLs and all that. And Bob's influence on every one of those models over the years. And one of the machines that was probably nearest or dearest to Bob's heart was the 73 Starfire. That one had a lot of Bob in it, and this is what I wanted, this is what he wanted in a machine, his vision, and that's what he won the World Championship on. It was the 73 Starfire. Got trophies, some of the race gear, the actual leathers and suits that the drivers wore, some of Bob's trophies, Jim Burnett's trophies. We got a 70 Charger here that was used to do the loop at the 50th anniversary. It was a 70 Charger that was used in 1970 when the thrill team was going. Roger Dick run this one. A lot of racing going on, and racing built a lot of stuff. It developed a lot of new product, new designs, things that did show up in the production, the consumer products later on. Here we got a Star Car made one year. It was a way that you could take the engine out of your snowmobile in the summer, drop it into this vehicle, and you could utilize that engine year round. Right after the company got these built and out, there was actually a race class for them, and that race class went away. So now it became a vehicle that didn't have a home. There was no need for the vehicle. It wasn't for racing. It wasn't really something that you just drove around the neighborhood with. So they went away after a year. we start getting into more of the other machines, modern machines. We've got a 75, or the 175 NX, which was the prototype to the Colts. Everyone thinks back to the 72, 73 Colts and how many of those were made. This was the proto machine the year before. NX was just the code name for the project, and a 175 in it. Messel Snow King, one of the many brands of product that Polaris built over the years. More race stuff as we get into more modern, if you want to say. We get into the Polaris wedge chassis, Corey Davidson's race machine. We get into the Sportsman 500 as Polaris got into the ATV business in the 80s and advanced into the Sportsman 500. You know, the discussion was, why would anyone want a 500cc engine in an ATV? Because at the time everyone was running 300s, 250s, you know, smaller stuff. And in typical Polaris fashion, it was, well, because we can. Who doesn't want to go faster? Well, if you're going to go faster, you got to have suspension. So now you got a bigger, longer travel suspension with the vehicle. Sportsman 500 changed the whole ATV industry for us. You can see the first ATVs that were built, Trail Boss 4-wheeler, Scrambler 3-wheeler. There was 2 production runs of the 3-wheeler built. About a total of 1,600 of those were built between those 2 production runs. And then Polaris decided they didn't want them build anymore, and they really didn't want them out because there was a lot of problems with 3-wheelers causing accidents. So Polaris offered to call them all back. They took it back in as many as the dealers had brand new that they didn't want anymore. They pulled the front forks off, pulled the gas tank off. They put the gas tank from the 4-wheeler, the front end from the 4-wheeler, and turned them into 4-wheelers. Because everything from the steering post back is the same on the 2 vehicles. They were designed that way. They were designed to be interchangeable. It's another area that Bob worked on and helped design and develop, pull that together. We think about Polaris getting into the motorcycle business with the Victory motorcycle. Well, they were actually in the motorcycle business in 1962, 61 with the trail tractor. Built that up through 1965. I guess it's a loose term if you call them a motorcycle or not, but then you start coming around into, if you want to say, the modern era. You know, you can see an RMK version. You know, it used to be, if you go back into the early 90s, we had the Indy, then we came with the Indy SKS, the Snow King Special. Well, now you've got the RMKs. Now, what do you want? Wide front end, narrow front? You want short, long? What do you want out of your RMK? That's almost become a complete product line by itself. Because the mountain states, depending upon where you're riding, are you trying to get to the top of the hill? Are you trying to get through the trees? What do you want out of the vehicle? So there's a lot of variety in that. And we come in and you can see the first Victory products, the Mule engine put together to try different things. The V92, the first model. Next to it is what we call Francis the Mule. That vehicle has all kinds of things on it where you could move the foot pegs, you can move the handlebars, you can move the seat, try in many different positions for ergonomics. What worked best, what felt best. So that's the old Francis the Mule development machine. Victory engines, we get into the Indian motorcycles. We've got our Razors, Rangers, Generals, that has just taken off and created a whole different part of the company. I don't know if you see, as we came back around, there was a picture of a swamp buggy. The guys wanted to get out to the field. They wanted to get out hunting, not just in the winter, but the summer. So they built swamp buggies. Now they're a little fancier swamp buggies than what we had back in the late 50s. A lot of youth product.
So yeah, the tour continues at the Polaris Experience Center in Roseau, Minnesota. Reactions, gentlemen, to what we're looking at?
Oh, I love it. I wished I could. I'd like to go out there sometime and go through that. Yeah.
Yes. One of these days we'll have to get our act together and do a road trip.
And Bob had a lot of influence on a lot of things out there.
Yes.
He it wasn't just snowmobiling. He was involved with the ATVs and just hands-on, brilliant. Bob was.
Yes. And Rob, reactions to this?
A friend of mine had one of those 3-wheelers, and they sent him a free front end kit because it became illegal in Ontario to ride a 3-wheeler for a while.
Oh, yeah, so they could
players were
convert it
sending
to.
out free kits to change them into 4-wheelers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
still in the game.
Yeah.
That's
And I didn't
cool.
know they
Right
made
there.
mini bikes back in '62. He said, was it?
Yeah, I think it was that orange thing.
Yeah.
See if I can find that. Oh, I'm having trouble finding it. But yeah, that little orange thing.
Yeah. Mitch, you ever seen one of the cars?
Yeah, you just had it.
Yes. Yeah, there's the orange
Right there.
thing.
Yeah.
And yes, Jason Gibbs has one of those star cars.
Yeah, we had one.
Yeah, nice.
They let us drive it around the half-mile clay harness track up at the fairgrounds. And I got so I could dirt track around the inside rail, man. The back end would kick out, and you could hold it wide open all the way around the corner.
Do a power slide.
It was fun.
That's cool.
Do a lot,
Were they
do
ever
a power
legal
slide.
for-
Yeah.
Were they ever legal for the road?
No. And like you said, they only made them 1 year. They really didn't have any race. There was not a class for them. They were hoping Arctic Cat would make some Skidoo. They were hoping they could get a summer class up where they could, race them. And it didn't develop. Nothing became of it. So the car itself, it was without a home, really.
Sure.
And, unless you had a field, or in our case, we had a way to, take it out and race it around up at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
It wasn't practical. So
And
the
from what I
factory called
understand
them
with
all back.
From what I understand with a snowmobile engine, those things were pretty quick too, weren't they?
Oh, they're very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say probably that one we had was probably maybe 50 miles an hour around that half mile.
Wow. So this is more of an adult toy than a kid's toy.
That was only a single cylinder.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a Polaris 372 Polaris engine on it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, we were
it was
just
fun.
We were just getting started. We've got more with the Eastman family. In fact, let me queue up the next. I just need to get to the right place here. Queue up the next video clip. This is going to be more with the Eastman family. All right, so we are back. We're going to, at this point, we're going to look at some older photos of Bob Eastman's life and career, and we're here with his grandchildren, Amy and Ryan. I'm going to just start popping images on the screen, and they're going to share stories, memories, and thoughts about him. So I'll just pop one on the screen here.
First thing, so the double goggles. Papa was, like we said, growing up, Papa was more so farming and hunting. That was our more so our bonding.
Sure.
But when he came to a motocross race of mine later on, I think I was in high school or something, I had tear-offs on my goggles. So it's like thin little laminate plastic sheets you pull off when the dirt you can't see anymore.
When the
And I
ground
remember
breaks up.
showing a photo, something like this. You're like, well, we didn't have those, but no, pretty iconic. Different time
That's
for sure.
cool. Oh, for sure. Yeah, such a great time. And Amy, any thoughts on this image? Or?
Not really. I'm thankful that my mom had she'd made a Facebook album of a bunch of Papa's pictures like this back in 2020. Just great memories to hold on to. And so I stole all these from her. So I'm glad she
Nice.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did. So let's look at the next one here.
Always tinkering. Never content. I think,
Sure.
well, and I think that goes for anyone, in the racing development world, but it's fun to see the photos like of him racing and stuff. But, Racer Bob, I think, is one half of it. It's cool to see like, the Innovator Bob. So
Yes.
I love seeing photos like this, or like I've seen another one in the past where he's full on in the snow laying down, looking at the underbelly. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's Bob. Didn't care. He was just going to get it done. So I like
Get
that.
right into it. Do what he has to do to make it happen. That's cool. And Amy?
Absolutely what he said.
Yes. Well, cool. Now here's a more personal one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is the brand new baby mom. That was our mom, Penny. And I tried to do the math. I think Papa was around 22 years old, but Rod could correct me maybe on that one. He looks so young.
Yes.
It's funny, Amy. That's pictures like this. I see I think of us 3 kids because
Yeah.
Papa has us 3 on the Erickson side, but then his son Rod, they have 2 kids, Jesse and Haley too. So you see Eastman, I think, in all of us, but Amy, this is where I see your face a ton. So that's kind of fun.
I'll
Yes,
take
you do you bear a striking resemblance to him. Absolutely. But go ahead. You were going to comment on that?
I'll take it. I don't know.
Hey, movie star good looks is what people said, so you better take that one.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, he was a very good looking guy for sure. And people comment on that. Absolutely. Yeah. And now who is this that he's holding here?
That's little Rod, I'm told.
Oh.
And again, I'm kind of regurgitating, so Rod can correct me if I'm wrong, but they didn't get to go to a lot of the out of the area races. But I believe this is when, I don't know if it was cross country or what it was, but it drove through or by the Roseau Fairgrounds. So, and Rod got to be there.
Yeah. And Ryan, anything to add to this one?
No, yeah, it's fun just to see. Again, I think that must be Rod because you can sure see his face in it. So it's fun.
That's cool. Then we got a nice family photo here.
Yeah. So with our grandma Bonnie, and I don't know, he was so young with his race career. I'm like, I know my grandma had help from her mom, our great grandma Grace, but I don't know how they raised such young kids, and Papa was busy with racing things and had to be wild.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. A lot to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Wife and family and a career and racing and all of that. Yeah, that's
Travel.
yes. And Ryan, anything to add to that?
No, just what Amy said, that
Sure.
now having families of our own, looking at that picture, I'm like, and I just have one son, and I'm just like, holy buckets. And you were racing. And, just from the stories, the amount of hours they spent at Polaris every night on the road, I'm like, go Bonnie.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
yeah. It's cool.
And you're right to be balancing all of the racing with the family and everything. That says a lot about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it looks like he did right on all counts, on all levels.
Mm.
Okay.
And this is what, early 60s maybe? Early to mid 60s?
Maybe. I'm like, that has to be Rod, right? What do you think, Ryan?
Oh, I don't know off the cuff, to be honest. I'd have to probably look back at what trophies, what race, and do the math there, but I don't know.
I had a caption on them, and I forgot to keep them all in the same document. But
Sure, that's all right.
Maybe it'd probably be 70s, I suppose, because that was when, because he got hurt in, I think, was that 73, 74, something like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and we do have an image of that coming up in a little bit too. And then we've got this. Now, is this part of his farming experience, or this isn't to do with the racing? I wouldn't think.
No, this was, so what my mom had captioned that is that she said this was his truck. He had a little sideline investment business. So I don't know the details, but got the picture in the caption.
Yeah, that's cool. Transporting things.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that is in Roseau by the Mo Lutheran Church, I believe. My great grandma's yard.
Wow.
Which kid it is, though? I don't know which kid.
Nice.
Smack dab in the middle of Roseau. That's cool.
That's cool. Here we go.
Yep.
Gotta love the styles of the 70s. But there's a story behind this. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and like I talked with you a little bit about Mike, when you guys had shared that some of the Hawaii pictures, was it him and then was it Dorothy Mercer or somebody that there too? But this was just him and his modeling career, I guess, in Hawaii. So.
Yes. So if I understand this correctly, the context of this, it sounds like they brought some Polaris sleds to Hawaii for some kind of promotional thing, and they were riding the sleds across the beach in this snowmobile outfits.
Yep.
Yeah. Ugh,
That's wild.
But
Yeah, they must have got-
those pictures just came up. So it's kind of funny. It's profit sharing week at Polaris. So this week, basically what happens is they kind of remember the old times and they send out the monthly newsletter from the 1974, 1975, and so on. And the Hawaii picture you're mentioning, Mike, where they're on the beach with the sleds, surfaced and people couldn't believe it. They're like, no way. So a lot of people didn't know the history. So
that's wild. That is pretty outrageous. That's cool. And then is this the same farm truck or maybe an updated one a few years later?
Could be a different one. It's little Rod being put to work. So my mom had written that was a weekend job for Rod of washing the trucks.
Yeah.
So
Learning a good work ethic early.
absolutely good bonding time when he was home or when Papa was home.
Nice.
And,
there we go.
Yeah, Mom all decked out. Must have been going to ride.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That looks like the glory days. I'm thinking 70, 71, give or take. Oh, the photo says 72. So yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
That could be about right for how I'd just be guessing at how old mom is, but maybe so, yeah, early 70s. That kitchen. It's a very familiar kitchen.
That's what I was
Oh,
just
wow.
going to say. Yeah,
That's cool.
the outlay.
Oh, yep.
That's cool. And then here we go. We had talked earlier about his injury, and he retired from racing after that. Is that correct? As far as riding sleds in a race?
You know, don't quote me on this, but I know he moved into more of a managerial role with the race team. I want to say he still raced a bit, but yeah, I'm not sure on that for sure. But yeah, it at least was a pivot for his racing at the very least.
Yes. Yeah. And then here we have the spoils of success.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That is cool.
Yeah. So Mama just written that was Papa and his javelin and the trophies. And she was thinking that he was around 29 years old in that picture.
Mhm.
So I think Ryan had commented on it back in, must have been 2020. Like, do you imagine doing that at 29? I don't know.
Yeah,
No.
he had it going on.
That's
No.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely had it going on for sure. And then as far as the older images, this is the last of the ones I've got, and we're going to take a break here in a moment. But especially seeing him on a cat, what do we have to say about this image?
I don't even know what's going on.
Well, you know, we all know Arctic Cat has Polaris Foundation, so I always give my friends a little crap here and there that when they spit on Polaris, I'm like, hey, you know where the Arctic Cat founder came from, right? So
Yeah, the two companies are very closely linked,
All
Oh, yeah.
right.
especially in the early years, like you say.
hmm
Well, cool. So we're going to take a little break, and then we're just getting started. In fact, we're hanging out here with Bob Eastman's grandchildren, Amy and Ryan, and we've been looking at some images from yesteryear. We've gone to the earliest ones first. Next, we're going to look at more of kind of the middle years when we come back. So don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. So yeah, hanging out with the Eastman grandchildren. What are you guys thinking in the way of reactions to this?
It's nice
Oh,
to hear
pretty
the
awesome.
history of their.
Yeah. Bob was seriously injured in '74, and I don't think he raced professionally after that. I mean, I'm not going to say he didn't get on a snowmobile and for a ride, but I don't think Bob raced after that. I think he was mainly the team manager, and so. Because he was very seriously injured there. They didn't think he was going to live. He had a blood clot pass through his heart or something like that. And
Wow.
yeah. So
And as far as that kitty cat image, I think from Rod, his son, we've got a comment here. So this is back before Polaris ventured into mini sleds. So he might have been doing some research and development right there.
That's probably true. Yeah.
So he's taking his work home with him.
That's right. That's what they did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Rob.
Bob was
Rob, any reactions to what we're looking at? Or?
That's an awful lot of trophies in that picture.
Yes.
Some of those trophies are bigger than what the grandchildren were, probably.
Yes. And in some of the comments, Rod was saying he used to climb that trophy. Probably this biggest trophy next to him. Said he used to climb that. Oh yeah, here it is, right here. Well, cool.
That was a good comment.
Yes. So let me get back to where I need to be. We've got another clip from the Roseau Experience Center. Let's take a look at that, and we'll keep this party going.
The Polaris Hall of Fame, whether it was employees, people in administration, dealers, customers, people that helped make Polaris what it is today, suppliers, recognizing their efforts. Some various engines on display, just so you can see, get a little bit better feel for what that is. Again, so as the ATVs, just like the snowmobiles with the arcades, the ATVs start getting into more specialized areas. What do we want? Here you got something set up a little bit more for touring than just a standard sportsman. More accessories for the type of riding, how you want to use the product. Coming up into this area, you see a lot of componentry on display, if you want to call it that. And a lot of it is cutaways that were used for dealer displays. There's cutaways that were used for helping to demonstrate a patent application. Here you've got a bunch of small scale model rear engine machines up to the 65 Mustang. These were all built by a local high school kid here in Rosa. He was in 11th and 12th grade. He had built one for a 4-H display. My father was president at the time. He seen that. He contacted him and says, could you build more of them? So he was given access to come out to the plant, and he'd measure stuff and write it down, and then he'd go home and build them. The big red Mountaineer here has got over 1,000 pieces in it. Every one of those pieces were hand fabricated by him. He had to make special tools at times to get the parts put together, and all the way down to the little hood latch is all hand fabricated. The engines were hand carved out of a block of wood. And it's just various engines, displays, clutches, things that created innovation that the engineers have done over the years. It's not all just snowmobiles, it's snowmobiles, it's ATVs, it's, like I said, it's the whole experience of Polaris. It isn't just a history museum.
Wow. Did we lose Rob, Mike?
Yeah, Midge, anything catch your eye viewing this, or Rob?
Oh my gosh, those models. Are you kidding me? Wow. Man, boy, do I ever feel inadequate.
Yeah, I hear that.
Man.
Rob, can you hear us?
Unbelievable.
I think Rob's struggling with his audio. Okay, he's logging off and back on. It's
Yeah.
true, and that was a high school student that made
Yeah,
those.
I locked up a while ago.
And I guess there's over 1,000 parts in that big red one.
Just imagine.
I'm glad they have that behind glass, because I can
Wow.
just picture a kid reaching up and grabbing that to play with
Oh
it
yeah,
and breaking it.
yeah.
So I'm glad that's
Well, the
behind glass.
detail is just crazy on that thing.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he made it all out of wood.
Yes. Here we go. Rob's back.
Boy.
Hey, Rob, do we have audio
Hi,
on you?
Rob.
Can we hear you? Can you
Yes,
hear
I
us?
can hear you now.
Oh, good. Excellent. We're in business.
Yep.
So, Rob, before
Yeah.
we switch gears, was there anything in this presentation that you had reactions to? Oh, yeah, we lost your audio again. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Yeah, the gremlins are back, I think. Let's take a comment
Yeah.
here. John Zuccarelli says, good evening from Elma, New York. Cool deal. So let's do this. I'm going to take this video clip down, and we're going to go into the next installment. This is going to be more family photos from the Eastman family. So let's take a look at that. It'll just take a moment to cue it up. And this is it right here. So we are back with Amy and Ryan. These are Bob Eastman's grandchildren. We've been looking at images from all through the years. Right now we're going to look at some images from the middle years. So let me pop one on the screen. And this is part of his farming experience, right?
Yeah. So Mom was very involved with horses, and she didn't grow up with them initially, but read a lot of books and kind of started off on her own with them. And Papa was very instrumental in that, clearly helping her with this foal that came. And also there's some driving pictures, and he was just helpful. I believe he was tied to the horse trailer that she had too. The first horse trailer had to be painted midnight blue, and I don't have any pictures of it, but it's just sweet that he was so involved with a wild. Horses are a crazy hobby, and this was Mom breaking into it.
Nice.
There she
is. Good.
Oh yeah, this is just the pony Sam that kind of got passed through a few different families, and Papa was helping her teach him to drive.
Nice. And Ryan, anything to add to any of this, or?
When Amy mentioned midnight blue, if I'm a betting man, I'm willing to bet that went through the Polaris paint booth. Just with probably hat on hand. But Amy, how was Sam? I forget the story. Wasn't Sam like won in a raffle or something? Or how did that go?
It was really random. I don't know if it was during Roseau Crazy Days or something, but our great grandma had was watching our mom, and either my mom's name was entered in the raffle or my great grandma's name was entered. But either way, they won. They won a pony, and I think his true name is like Sanchez, but they called him Sam. And long story short, this pony lived years with my mom, and then was later passed on to Rod's wife's family. So Jackie and her sister, they had him for a while. The pony made it back into our family eventually. So, and then I think he died at our place. He lived till like 36 years old though. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
He's
cool.
Stubborn little.
I can't picture being Papa and being like, hey, we have a pony all of a sudden.
Pretty wild. Like,
yeah.
they were just outside of town at the time, but eventually, like now that lot is town in Roseau. So it works.
Wow. Yeah. And what are we looking at here?
Ryan, the horse trainer, riding Sam.
No, that's Ryan up there.
Yeah.
Amy, that's very much my mom, Penny, and Amy. That was horses was their thing. But yeah, is that Sam, Amy?
Sam, and then it was the Roseau Fair Parade. And Papa showing his support, whether it was horses, hockey, dirt bike, it was everything. Track. I know Jesse did track, Haley did dance. Papa was at like every event that he could be when he was able to. Very supportive as a grandfather.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool. A very committed family man.
Absolutely.
And speaking of which, what are we looking at here?
Sorry for all the Ryan pictures, Mark's.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, baby Ryan at the fair.
That's probably like what, just over about 1.5 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
94. Yeah, just over one.
That's cool. Good times are being had right there.
Absolutely.
And right here too, it looks like.
Oh man.
This is my Eli that popped in before the interview. He was Papa's first great grandson, and he was so proud. Like I mentioned, he was 5 weeks premature. A lot of people, even I was nervous. And my grandpa got right in there, and he just beamed. He held him for those times.
Wow.
And now he actually has 6 total grandsons, so it's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's amazing. And anything to add to that, Ryan?
Oh, and it's a little bit funny. I think that was my first dirt bike that I ever had.
Wow.
And it's funny. It just triggered a memory, kind of related. Is after the injury that we saw the picture of, Papa got pretty, I call it gun shy a little bit. I think even if you guys are familiar with like Jerry Bunke's racing accident and when he passed away, that kind of changed Papa a little bit from what I'm told. And anyways, when we were young, I don't remember the conversation, but there was something between our mom and Papa of like, these kids will not race. I wanted to race 120 in the worst way. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, not doing it. And it's kind of funny. So fast forward, 20 years. And then Papa's like, oh man, dirt bikes. This is amazing. So I just love this picture. He just looks genuinely happy. It's cool.
For sure. And then we've got this one.
Yeah, this is the best farm picture I could find in her Facebook album, and just shows his joy. I don't know, his joy of farming. And I think Mark, I think you guys farmed with him some. Did you work for him combining, or maybe Jesse and Haley did too? I didn't help much. So
yeah, I think more so Mark. I would rake swabs a little bit, but Mark would actually farm with him more. I was a little bit young yet.
I feel like I did that with you guys once, straightening swaths, and I didn't get asked back, so I don't know if it was a bad job or what, but
yeah,
not a good career choice for me.
Sure. And then we get this image.
Yeah, this is probably the one that's nearest to my heart. with Mom passing last year, and then just like the pride and joy that Papa had with that teeny tiny baby.
Yes.
He was less than 5 pounds, and nope, he embraced the great grandpa role too, and I know he will for whatever future. You know, he'd be proud of all the great grandkids that. Hopefully, my brothers have lots of them, and my cousins too, because I have plenty.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Anything to add to this, Ryan? Or
Oh no, I just like what Amy said. It's just fun to
enjoying the
see.
moment?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, this is 2013 at Papa and Carolyn's house, and it was just a good full family picture. It's been a while, only probably about 11 years since. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Doing the wrong math.
Yeah.
It was a good memory.
That preemie Eli filled up a little bit. You can see.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how old he is, but he definitely packed it on. And
We can kind of walk through too. So if you go from left to right,
Yep.
that's Jesse. It's kind of fun. So Jesse went through engineering school with me as well. We got to grow up really close together. Then just above him is his sister Haley. So that's Rod and Jackie just above them. So Rod is Bob's son as well. And then obviously Amy, her husband Leo. Then just above Leo is Carolyn. And then in the very middle is Amy and I's middle brother Mark and his wife Danielle to the right. Then the middle obviously is Papa, and then our mom Penny, and then our dad Jeff, and then awkward age look myself.
you look great.
I don't know about that. Yeah, really fun times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice family gathering. Would this have been a holiday or just a random family gathering? Or
Is it Christmas?
I think they hosted Christmas and opened their home to us, and Carolyn did a phenomenal job cooking. She was great with that.
I think this was they did some remodeling too, so it was kind of fun. It was like the first family gathering, getting to utilize like the new space. It was pretty cool.
that's cool.
Absolutely.
And this one here,
Oh yeah, that's sitting back on the shelf still. So Grandpa's in the nursing home at this point, but I had moved after college. I'd moved down south to Alabama, and I was always 11 throughout my whole racing career. And then when I moved to do some different race series, I had to change numbers to a 3-digit, and I was like, why in the world am I not 264? Like that's the number to be. So I just kind of made it up, and he's always been inspirational to me. So I just wanted to kind of make sure he knew that, because there's the engineer inspiration, just his general character, but it was kind of a fun thing that I like to look back on too, of like continuing the tradition. And kind of that photo with his javelin, I basically said like, hey, I'm not going to have your same race accolades, but it's inspiring to try to follow suit.
for sure. That is cool. Very nice.
Yeah, and then there's our other brother Mark's in the middle, and then our dad. I was trying to get a bunch of different pictures in here. So. This had to have been in Moorhead when Papa was in the nursing home there. So I think Haley and Jesse both live in Moorhead at the time, so he was able to get family as visitors, and Carolyn visiting, of course, too. And yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and Papa and Carolyn, and I don't remember what year this would have been, but it was before our parents had a house fire, so it's the old house stuff.
Wow.
No, Ryan, if you have any guesses, but
Yeah, that was pre 2015, but
okay.
yeah, it feels like I've seen that Christmas picture on the calendar.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, 2013ish. I'd probably guess.
Yeah.
that helps.
Nice. Yeah, it's a nice shot of both of them.
Absolutely, they look great. Yeah, this is kind of a random one, but we took a family trip to Jackson Hole. I think Papa and Carolyn had lined up the trip. I'm kind of just guessing on that part, but we stayed in Jackson Hole and watched. Brian, what was that? Was it the hill climb?
Yeah, the Hill Climb Championships at Jackson Hole at Snow King Resort there.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah,
to
but that
watch.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet he enjoyed himself on that. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, so it was kind of like a 2-part trip. We spent like 2 days at Snow King, kind of skiing while the races were going on, so you can like watch while you go up. Super cool. And then the other part we were riding snowmobiles out in the mountains, but it was fun seeing, he walks through the pits and like people just out of the woodwork. Hey, Bob. And I'm like, how do you know so many people here in the middle of Wyoming? So
That's amazing.
it was pretty cool. And it was funny because fast forward, that's 2010. So I was in high school. Fast forward to now, some of those guys work at Polaris and I work with them now, like day to day. So it's kind of funny. I'm like, oh, you're just Polaris worldwide.
That's cool. That's cool. And this, I imagine, was a very special day.
Yeah, forgot to put that one in there. Yep, my wedding in Roseau, and again, I'm like, I know I was a little stinker growing up, but Papa, for some reason, thought the world of all of his grandkids, and I just see that in his smile.
Yes. You can see the pride and the love. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you must have been there, Ryan. Anything to add to that? Or
No, yeah, it was fun. I think that was the Pioneer Farm in Roseau.
Yeah, he was my free videographer. It was terrible.
Oh yeah, I was high school punk.
Hey.
That'd be funny.
It's a good memory now. Okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then the last image we've got, this is from when the three of you were at the museum. This is one of your sons, Amy, I believe.
Yep, that's the third one. So this is just, I guess it was just one of the times I'd taken the boys in. Oh yeah, when we did the Experience Center thing, they actually watched a movie. They have a little movie theater in the back of the Experience Center. So we tried to keep them quiet a little bit, let them watch some racing. And it's just great that they can, like anybody can walk through the Experience Center and learn about the history. Because for my kids, that's going to be their opportunity to learn about their grandpa and Polaris as a whole. So
Yeah, that's their legacy right there for sure.
yeah, he really enjoyed it.
That is cool. And then, of course, this is you and Carolyn that day.
Yep, it was a lot of fun getting to meet with Carolyn there. We went for some coffee afterwards and had a great time.
That's nice. That's nice. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the images that we have. Is there are there any thoughts or memories that we haven't touched on that you wanted to make sure that we didn't miss?
Yeah, no, we hit a lot of them. One of the notes I'd written down that was kind of silly, that makes me think of Papa like daily, is he was quite the grammar police. So I was remembering back with my dad on the phone here, his mom, Leona, was actually a teacher. So very musical family they came from too. And but I think the grammar thing must have come from his mom being a teacher, because now I'm teaching my own kids and I'm like, they'll be like, hey, me and my brothers are doing this. And I'm like, Papa would always say, no, my brothers and I. This, or Ryan and I. And I'm like, oh, he would get me every time with that. And it was almost like borderline annoying, but now I'm like, okay, I get it. Yep.
Yeah, and you're right. It's early. It's good to catch that early. You know, it's just good habits. You know,
Yep.
That will serve them well in their adulthood. As annoying as it might be right now, it'll serve them well in their adulthood.
Well, it was, yeah, he was really great about that, just being proper habits. I don't know. I really admired that about him.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he truly was a great man. And Ryan, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
You know, it's kind of I'm really fortunate to still work at Polaris, and just like any job, sometimes it becomes a job and you like lose the passion sometimes. And this is probably in the weeds a little bit, but I can think when we're working through problems that come up through testing, and there's times where it's tempting just to like, good enough, like shove it through. But it's kind of funny. I have like this voice in the back of my head of like, did Papa like really break his back for this company for me to be good enough? So it's kind of, it's come up a few times, and like, I have like a monthly cadence where I just kind of reflect on like what's going on, whatever. And it's fun having like kind of that over the shoulder a little bit of like Papa's critical eye, not in a bad way, but just like he was passionate. Like I want to be passionate too. So it's fun. And just like Amy said, everyday life, that grammar keeps me to this, or haunts me to this day when I'm typing, talking to my 3-year-old. But yeah, just his attention to detail, and like what I love, I think, like if just to summarize, is like he was talented, he worked his butt off, but like you would never hear it, you would see it, I guess is what I love.
Yeah. So for all of his accomplishments, he was still a very warm person, very much a family man. And yeah. And to speak to what you were both saying earlier too, is his ethics about work and language and things like that, that helps you to elevate your game and keep it there, to higher level.
Yeah. You mentioned ethics. One story, sorry, I know we're probably getting to the end, but I don't know all the specifics here, but it was actually later on in life when Grandpa was like closer to the nursing home and in the nursing home. It was harder, like memories, like for most people as you get older, but his race stories started like coming out more.
Oh, wow.
It was fun because like those are older memories. I think they were more firm. Anyways, speaking of his like ethics, how much the standard he held himself to, but also the people around him. He was racing. I want to say it was a cross country race. I can't remember where, but there was this climb that he had come up to, and there was a rider that was stuck. And long story short, Grandpa got off, helped the guy, pushed him up, and they got to the top of this, steep embankment. And the guy was about to just take off and like leave Papa, like ditch him after he just helped him. And Papa was like, I yanked him off of his sled. I said, no, you're coming to help me now. And it's just funny. Like he was a sportsman to like help the guy, but then he's like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, reciprocity. Yeah, absolutely.
Those fun things that like Amy said, you ponder every now and then and you chuckle. But
That's cool. Well, great. Well, I appreciate you both taking this time to spend with us. We really appreciate it. We've gone through some really nice stories. And yeah, anytime you have anything more you'd like to do with this podcast to celebrate his memory, remember him, just, be in touch and we'll be happy to set something up.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. Thanks, Amy, for working all this out with him too.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
All righty. Thank you so much. Yeah, wonderful family moments with the Eastman family right there. That's pretty hard to beat.
Very cool, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
And Ryan, he hit just hit the thing about maybe putting something out saying, yeah, well, that's good enough. I've worked too hard on it already, and that's good enough. But that is not how Bob Eastman played. It had to be about as perfect as you could ever get anything when anything he had anything to do with was about as good as you could get it.
We're to an impossibly high
true.
standard. Sure.
He's got his grandfather looking over his shoulder for sure. And there's no such thing as good enough.
Yes. And Rob, any reactions to all of this? Or?
Oh, that was great. You had Amy and Ryan come on to tell us the history about their grandparents. And they're two lucky kids to be able to know their grandparents. A lot of people didn't get a chance, and they were lucky.
It's true.
They're great stories.
Yeah.
They have such a rich legacy there. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
In fact, we've got a comment here. Dave Meyer is saying he said he met Bob in Boonville, New York, grinding the tips off some flyweight at the airport. Yeah, cool. But go ahead, Midge. What were you going to say?
Well, when they were out in West Yellowstone, or where was it? The hill climb? Was it?
I think it was,
Wyoming or somewhere out there.
Wyoming, yeah.
Yeah, and people were coming up to Bob and saying, "Hi, Bob." And, they couldn't understand how come so many people know Bob Eastman. But Bob Eastman, the snowmobiling, is like Muhammad Ali was the boxing.
Yes, a very recognizable
he's the
person.
Most recognized face in snowmobile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Rich Shad says, such great history. Makes me even more proud to ride his collection of Polaris sleds. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is a wonderful thing all around. A great celebration for the Eastman family, also for the Polaris brand. So anyone, the Polaris faithful, anyone who even casually likes Polaris, you got to give it up tonight for Polaris, Yeah. Oh, Glenn Ford says a big thank you to the Eastman family for sharing their memories. Yeah. Well, cool.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So in the few minutes we have left, Rob, do you feel like doing a quick AMSOIL presentation?
Sure.
All right. And I've got that graphic too, that Polaris graphic if you need it.
Okay. A lot of people know about AMSOIL being one of the first API-rated synthetic oils. Our 5W30, 10W30 was the first oil to ever be API-rated back in 1972. But it's not just the car oil that we're known for. We're very well known for our snowmobile oils, what this program's all about. Our Dominator oil's been out for over 25 years too. More film strength, longer engine life, protection. And we have trail riding oil, chainsaw oils, small engine oils, dirt bike oils. If you can think of it, we probably have a Z-Rod oil for the older cars. And with Mike and I, we have a program where you can sign up as a preferred customer and buy the oil directly from AMSOIL. You click on the Mike's link, and we can send you a catalog on how to save.
Oh, we just lost your audio, Rob. Can you hear us, Rob? Oh, no, we just lost his audio.
Huh.
That's a bummer. We'll let him go for another minute. But, thank you so much, Rob. You may not be able to hear us, Rob. Can you Okay. So, well, we tried. We tried. It's all good. We're going to wind down the show here. We've got one more comment. Midnight Rider says, "What a great tribute to a great man and a rich family history. When I think I've seen great podcasts, Mike, it tops it again. Awesome podcast." Well, thank you. Yeah, and that's not easy to do, especially from this end. To
Yeah.
try to keep topping yourself like that. But yeah, we won't stop trying. Live from the East Coast, it's Sunday night. Yes. And Ben says, "Awesome seeing everyone. See you all next week." Absolutely. And let's get Rob back here for final comments. And yes, Rob, any final comments before we wind it down? Or?
That's great hearing a history about a great person like that.
Yes, yes. And we've got 2 more episodes of the podcast to go before we wind it down for the season. Getting into April, we then transition into the Muscle Car podcast, which you have that to look forward to. So we don't stop. We just kind of change it up a little. But yeah, final comments, Midge. Oh, I think Midge might have locked up. Rob, anything else before we wind her down?
Oh,
it was wonderful, Mike. Wonderful memory.
Oh, good.
And like I said,
yes,
Bob
yes.
Eastman had a lot of pull when it came to us teenagers out here in the East. We all had to have helmets like Bob Eastman, and then here's another helmet. I had to have this helmet that looked like the same helmet that he won the World Series in 1973 with. So, and when I had that clone, my snowmobile cloned into a 1975 Polaris PDC, Conrad Van had 2 type seats, racing seats for them. And one of them was what he called the Bob Eastman seat. Well, you're going to have the Bob Eastman seat if you're going to have a Polaris snowmobile.
You got to have it.
So I had him make the Bob Eastman seat.
Nice.
And, it was a lot of influence, a lot of positive influence that Bob portrayed everywhere he went.
Yes. Yeah, truly classy gentleman for sure.
He was
he set the bar pretty high for everyone else. Yep. And Rob, final thought?
The only thing we were missing tonight was a clip of one of his races.
Yes.
Does anybody have any of that?
Yes. In fact, I think we've got this DVD that Carolyn sent me. Let me get myself full screen. And we're going to have Carolyn on in the fall for an episode just like this. And we're going to be playing clips from this DVD, and we're going to be getting her impressions, thoughts, memories, all of that. So we have that to look forward to in the fall season when we pick it up with Vintage Snowmobiles again. And she's working on bringing in some of her contacts for some episodes as well. So we want to thank Carolyn and Amy and Ryan and all the Eastman family for sharing all of this with us. This is wonderful.
thank you very much, Carolyn.
It's a big win for everyone. It's a big win for the 3 of us because we really enjoy it. It's a big win for celebrating the history of snowmobiling. It's a win for the Eastman family, and it just can't go wrong, And I'm about to lose my voice. So with that, have a wonderful evening, everyone.
That's right.
We'll catch up with you Thursday.
Yeah.
Great show, Mike.
Thank you.
And y'all losing your voice.